How much do you know about Boaz from the Bible? If you're anything like me, the answer to that question is not enough. Let's fix that right now. Boaz is a key figure in the book of Ruth, known for his integrity, kindness, and crucial role in the lineage of King David and ultimately, according to Christian tradition, Jesus Christ. His story is set during the time of the Judges, a period of moral and social chaos in Israel. Amid this backdrop, Boaz stands out as a man of honor and godliness. Boaz is introduced in Ruth 2 as a wealthy landowner in Bethlehem and a relative of Elimelech, the deceased husband of Naomi. Naomi had returned to Bethlehem from Moab after a famine, accompanied by her Moabite daughter in law, Ruth. The two widows were poor and in need of sustenance. Ruth went out to glean in the fields, an ancient practice that allowed the poor to collect leftover grain after harvest, and happened to enter the field of Boaz. When Boaz arrived and saw Ruth gleaning, he asked about her identity, learning that she was a Moabite woman who had shown extraordinary loyalty to Naomi. Boaz treated her with unexpected kindness. He ensured her safety amongst his workers and offered her food and water, and instructed his harvesters to leave extra grain for her to gather. Boaz's actions reflected compassion, but also obedience to the spirit of God's law, which commanded provision for the poor, the widow, and the foreigner. His generosity went beyond the minimum requirements, revealing a heart of mercy. Ruth reported Boaz's kindness to Naomi, who immediately recognized him as a kinsman-redeemer. In ancient Israelite culture, a kinsman-redeemer was a relative who had the responsibility to redeem a family member from poverty, slavery, or to marry a widow to preserve the deceased man's family line. Naomi saw in Boaz the possibility of both redemption and restoration for Ruth. At Naomi's prompting, Ruth approached Boaz at the threshing floor and requested that he spread the corner of his garment over her, which is a symbolic act requesting protection and marriage. Boaz responded with admiration for Ruth's boldness and faithfulness. Although he was willing to marry her, he mentioned there was another relative with a prior claim. Boaz immediately took steps to resolve the matter. In Ruth 4, Boaz met with the other kinsmen before the eldest at the city gate. When the man declined the responsibility, Boaz officially claimed the right and announced his intention to marry Ruth. This public and legal act affirmed Boaz's commitment not only to Ruth, but also to preserving the name of Elimelech's family. Boaz and Ruth's marriage resulted in the birth of a son, Obed, who became the father of Jesse and grandfather of David, Israel's greatest king. Thus, Boaz played a pivotal role in God's unfolding plan of redemption. His union with Ruth, a foreigner, also illustrates the inclusive nature of God's grace, foreshadowing the extension of salvation beyond the people of Israel. In summary, Boaz is remembered in the Bible as a righteous man, a redeemer, and a bridge in the divine lineage to the Messiah. He demonstrated integrity in business, compassion, and in relationships. Don't forget, also in obedience to God's law in every step of his interactions with Ruth. His life is a model of faithful action in uncertain times, and his story reveals how seemingly ordinary choices, like harvesting grain, honoring kinship obligations, and showing kindness, can be used by God to bring about extraordinary outcomes. That is just a little bit more about Boaz.